The $2.8 trillion new car disaster is here, and Consumer Reports says avoid these 15 models because what they discovered about brand new vehicles will shock you and save you from the biggest financial mistake of your life. Picture spending $50,000 on a brand new car, driving it off the lot with that new car smell, only to watch it fall apart before you even hit 30,000 miles. We're talking about complete transmission replacements, catastrophic engine failures, and safety recalls on vehicles that are supposed to represent the pinnacle of modern automotive engineering. But here's what's really terrifying. Consumer Reports pulled their recommendations from 15 different models after surveying over 380,000 real owners who reported the same devastating problems. These aren't isolated incidents. These are systematic failures affecting hundreds of thousands of brand new cars that dealers are still selling to unsuspecting customers right now. The most shocking discovery came from analyzing the data. Some of the most expensive, newest models from luxury brands showed worse reliability than 10-year-old used cars. The auto industry has convinced you that newer means better, but Consumer Reports' bombshell survey proves the opposite is true. Which 15 brand new car models are secretly financial disasters waiting to destroy your savings? And how many families are driving off dealer lots in vehicles that Consumer Reports says will bankrupt them before the warranty expires? The Cadillac Crest has always promised effortless luxury, but for hundreds of families who trusted the XT5, that badge now carries a bitter aftertaste. Owners who spent nearly $50,000 on the latest XT5 expected a smooth ride and trouble-free years ahead. Instead, many found themselves stranded in dealership waiting rooms, staring at service invoices instead of the open road. Consumer Reports stripped its coveted recommendation from the 2024 to 2025 XT5 after a wave of owner complaints. The numbers tell the story. Previous XT5 models, like the 2022 model, scored a solid 77 out of 100 for reliability. But the newest versions have tumbled off the charts, with reliability scores so low they didn't even make the recommended list. The culprit? Transmission warnings flashing before 10,000 miles, repeated trips to the shop, and an unsettling number of vehicles requiring major transmission service within the first year. One owner described the experience as paying for a luxury suite and getting a leaky motel room. It's not just the inconvenience. Out-of-warranty repairs for a mid-size luxury SUV transmission can run between $4,000 and $8,000, money most owners never expected to spend so soon. Some XT5 vehicles have seen 2 recalls in a single model year, and reviews mention touchscreen failures in the dead of winter, rattles, and howling noises that no amount of insulation can hide. For buyers who believed Cadillac's reputation guaranteed peace of mind, these breakdowns feel like a betrayal. The 2024 to 2025 XT5's fall from grace is more than a blip. It's a warning shot for anyone who thinks a high price tag buys immunity from disaster. And this is just the first of several luxury models where the promise of reliability unravels before the odometer even hits 30,000 miles. Genesis promised the GV80 would redefine luxury SUVs, but for many owners, that promise shattered before the first oil change. Instead of quiet confidence, the GV80 delivered a double blow: catastrophic differential failures and an electric battery system that drained wallets as fast as it lost charge. Consumer Reports recorded a predicted reliability score of just 21 out of 100. That's not just low, it's a red flag in a segment where buyers expect perfection. The trouble starts deep in the drivetrain, a tragedy for owners. About 5% of GV80 owners faced differential cracks within the first year. That means the gears responsible for turning the wheels, parts that should last a decade, were grinding themselves to pieces by the time the car hit 12,000 miles. When the differential fails, the SUV becomes undrivable, often stranding drivers far from home. The 2024 recall, officially labeled R2024-E08, pulled thousands of GV80s back to dealerships for emergency repairs. For many, it was too late. The damage meant full replacement, not a quick fix. But the mechanical nightmare doesn't end there. The GV80's high-voltage battery system, a key feature in its hybrid and electric trims, has left owners with another expensive surprise. Some drivers reported total battery failure before their second scheduled service. The cost to replace a failed GV80 battery? Estimates run over $4,500, and that's if the dealer has the part in stock. Even under warranty, the wait for repairs stretched into months, with loaner cars in short supply and frustration mounting. The result is a luxury SUV that can't be trusted to get through a single year without a major breakdown. Owner forums are filled with stories of roadside tows, warning lights that won't turn off, and the sinking realization that a premium badge doesn't protect against bad engineering. The GV80's collapse isn't just a technical failure, it's a warning to anyone who believes that high price guarantees high quality, and the pain isn't limited to those shopping for luxury. The next wave of disaster is hitting mainstream SUVs, where reliability should be a given, not a gamble. Families looking for a dependable ride have long turned to the Chevrolet Traverse, a three-row SUV that promises comfort, space, and peace of mind on every school run and summer road trip. But the latest owner surveys tell a different story. One that hits mainstream buyers right where it hurts. The 2025 Traverse scored just 19 out of 100 for predicted reliability, a number so low it shocked even seasoned auto analysts. Problems aren't limited to a few unlucky drivers. Hundreds of owners have reported complete transmission failures while their vehicles were still under a year old. Some describe the experience as going from a trusted family hauler to a driveway ornament overnight. The trouble starts with what should be simple: keeping transmission fluid where it belongs. GM issued technical bulletins, TB 2025-01 and TB 2025-04 for the Traverse, warning service departments about persistent leaks from faulty turbine shaft seals and bolts that can work loose after just a few thousand miles. When these seals fail, fluid pours out, the gears grind, and the transmission can slip or seize completely. For parents shuttling kids to school, the sudden loss of power isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Jakob Ertekin, an automotive analyst who tracks these issues for mainstream buyers, put it bluntly. We're seeing the same transmission problems across GM's family SUVs, not just in the luxury segment. If you're shopping for a Traverse, Acadia, or Enclave, you need to know what you're risking. The problem isn't isolated to a single model or year. The Traverse shares its platform and transmission with the GMC Acadia and Buick Enclave, which means a design flaw in one spells trouble for all. Many owners have faced repeated trips to the dealer, lost workdays, and the anxiety of wondering if their next drive will end with a tow truck. For families who thought buying new meant buying safe, these failures are a harsh wake-up call. And the risk doesn't end with SUVs. The same bulletins and reliability warnings now hang over GM's popular minivans, raising fresh concerns for anyone who needs a vehicle they can truly count on. Laura M. thought she was making the responsible choice. She picked the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid for its promise of fuel savings, family comfort, and green credentials. But less than 2 years later, her minivan became a financial time bomb. The first warning sign was a sudden battery drop. Her Pacifica lost more than 15% of its electric range in a single winter, leaving her stranded in a grocery store parking lot with 2 young kids in the back. When she called the dealer, the answer was grim. The hybrid battery was failing and the warranty process would take weeks. Laura isn't alone. Consumer Reports gave the Pacifica Hybrid a predicted reliability score of just 26 out of 100, one of the worst in its class. Owner surveys show that nearly a third of Pacifica Hybrids need major transmission work or a full rebuild before 30,000 miles. For many, the repair bill lands north of $5,500. money that most families simply don't have sitting around. The Pacifica Hybrid's battery problems and transmission failures often show up at the worst possible time, on family road trips, in school pickup lines, or during the morning commute. Some owners report multiple breakdowns in a single year, with their vehicles spending more time in the shop than in their own driveway. The pain doesn't end with the repair bill. When the Pacifica Hybrid's battery starts to fail, trade-in values plummet. Dealers know about the model's reputation, and resale offers can be thousands below what's owed on the loan. For families like Laura's, that means negative equity and the stress of paying for a car they can't trust, or even drive. What was supposed to be a smart investment in reliability and efficiency has become a cautionary tale. The Pacifica Hybrid's collapse isn't just about defective parts. It's about broken promises and the real financial risk that comes with trusting a badge over hard data. As more families speak out, it's clear that the cost of these failures goes far beyond the sticker price. Mike S. has managed a Kia dealership for over a decade, but nothing prepared him for the storm that followed the EV6's launch. Within months, the service bays filled with first-generation EV6s suffering the same baffling problem: sudden power loss during charging. Customers would plug in, watch the dashboard flicker, and then nothing. The car refused to accept a charge, sometimes leaving owners stranded miles from home, their only option a flatbed tow. The root cause traced back to a single component: the charging relay. In nearly 12% of early EV6s, this relay would overheat and melt, cutting off power to the entire drivetrain. The effect was immediate and total. No warning, no limp home mode, just a dead car and a frustrated owner. Kia's official recall, labeled EV 2025-02, confirmed the scale of the disaster. The company ordered dealers to replace the faulty relays, but parts shortages left many vehicles sidelined for weeks. Consumer Reports responded with a predicted reliability score of just 25 out of 100 for the EV6, on par with the worst gas cars of the last decade. For owners out of warranty, the repair bill could reach $4,200, and that is if the battery pack escaped damage. Mike S. remembers seeing regulars, people who had never set foot in the service department before, suddenly coming in twice in 1 month, each time for the same issue. The EV6's troubles didn't stop at the relay. Once the system failed, it often triggered a chain reaction of sensor errors and software lockouts, making diagnosis a nightmare even for seasoned technicians. For many early adopters, the promise of cutting-edge electric driving turned into a costly experiment. As Mike S. put it, "You don't expect to see a new EV towed in with less than 10,000 miles, but we saw it over and over." The pattern is clear. The rush to electrification has left some brands struggling to deliver basic reliability. For buyers, the lesson is harsh. New technology brings new risks, and sometimes the price of being first is paid in repair bills and lost trust. Kia's EV9 was supposed to be the answer for families ready to embrace electric driving without giving up space or comfort. Instead, owners have found themselves battling a wave of technical headaches that no one expects from a $60,000 SUV. The promise of a futuristic 3-row electric flagship has been drowned out by complaints of screens freezing mid-drive, rear cameras lagging or going dark, and mysterious rattles echoing through the cabin before the first road trip is even over. Consumer Reports handed the EV9 a predicted reliability score of just 24 out of 100, worse than some used cars a decade older. For owners, the frustration starts with the basics. The infotainment system, which is supposed to control everything from navigation to climate, has a habit of locking up or rebooting itself without warning. In some cases, the main screen goes completely black, leaving drivers without access to backup cameras, speed readouts, or even basic controls. One owner described the experience as driving blind, forced to pull over and restart the car just to get the system working again. But the glitches aren't limited to software. Reports of interior rattles and buzzing noises have become so common that some buyers joke about playing a game of find the squeak every time they hit a bump. For a vehicle marketed as Kia's luxury EV flagship, this kind of build quality feels inexcusable. The repair bills don't help either. A failed central screen or camera module can cost over $5,000 to replace once the warranty runs out. And with parts shortages still affecting dealerships, some owners have waited weeks for repairs, stuck driving loaners, or relying on public transit while their brand new EV sits in the shop. These aren't just minor annoyances. For families who trusted the EV9 to be their all-in-one solution, road tripper, daily commuter, tech showcase, these failures add up to a sense of betrayal. The car that was supposed to make life easier is instead introducing new headaches and unexpected expenses. And as the reliability data comes in, it's clear that even the most advanced, expensive tech can fall flat when rushed to market. The EV9's struggles are a warning. Modern cars aren't just about engines and batteries anymore. If the screens go dark, the whole promise of progress falls apart. Genesis set out to make the GV60 a showcase for high-end electric innovation. But for many early buyers, the reality has been a masterclass in frustration. The core of the problem lies in the car's ICU, the integrated control unit, a circuit board responsible for managing everything from charging to critical vehicle communications. Out of every 100 GV60s sold, nearly 9 have needed a full ICU replacement within the first year, a failure rate that would be unthinkable in any established luxury nameplate. Owners describe the experience as surreal. One day, the car charges normally. The next, it refuses to power up, displaying cryptic error messages or simply going dark at the plug. Some report being stranded at public chargers, unable to unlock the doors or even shift the car into neutral for a tow. The only fix? Replacing the entire ICU board, a repair that can cost over $6,000 if the warranty doesn't cover it. And that's before factoring in the time spent waiting for back-ordered parts. The problem is so widespread that Genesis issued Recall GV60 ICU, instructing dealers to check and, if necessary, replace the ICU in affected vehicles. But for owners, the damage goes deeper than inconvenience or repair bills. The GV60 is marketed as a premium electric vehicle, promising cutting-edge technology and peace of mind. Instead, it's left customers questioning whether they're driving a finished product or a beta test on wheels. The ICU failures have cast a shadow over Genesis's reputation in the EV world. For buyers who thought they were getting the future of luxury, the experience has been a harsh lesson in the risks of rushing new technology to market. When the brain of the car can quit without warning, no badge or price tag can guarantee reliability. Volvo's reputation for safety and engineering has made the XC60 a favorite among families and commuters alike. But for owners of the plug-in hybrid XC60 Recharge, the experience has taken a troubling turn. Consumer Reports removed its recommendation for the 2025 XC60 after a sharp spike in owner complaints, most of them tied to the car's battery management system. The numbers are hard to ignore. 14% of surveyed XC60 PHEV owners reported battery-related faults within the first year, a rate far higher than the typical luxury SUV. The problems range from sudden loss of electric drive to dashboard warnings that force the car into a low-power limp mode, sometimes in the middle of busy traffic. For many, the only solution was a complete battery management module replacement, a repair that costs around $2,900 once the warranty runs out. Volvo issued Recall XC2025-01 to address the most severe cases, but for some owners, the fix came too late. Reports describe vehicles shutting down without warning, stranding drivers at intersections or freeway exits. One owner recounted being forced to abandon their XC60 on a cold winter night after the system locked out all power, leaving them to arrange for a tow and wait weeks for parts to arrive. Hybrid technology is often marketed as a safer bet for reliability. a bridge between gas and electric that gives drivers the best of both worlds. The reality for XC60 PHEV owners has been far less reassuring. With a double-digit failure rate and expensive out-of-pocket repairs looming after the warranty period, the XC60's battery woes shatter the illusion that hybrids are a worry-free alternative. The pattern isn't isolated to Volvo either, as these battery management glitches are cropping up in hybrid and electric models across the industry, raising urgent questions about the true cost of going green. The Rivian R1T rolled onto the scene with the promise of revolutionizing the American work truck. Early buyers shelled out upwards of $80,000 for a pickup that boasted cutting-edge electric technology and rugged utility. But for hundreds of owners, that promise dissolved the moment their trucks lost power without warning, sometimes in the middle of a job, sometimes on the highway, and always with a sinking feeling that something fundamental had gone wrong. The culprit? A hidden flaw in the bus bar welds deep inside the R1T's battery pack. These welds are supposed to channel massive amounts of electricity safely through the truck's systems. But in 2025, Rivian issued Recall RV 2025-07 after discovering that a manufacturing defect could cause a sudden disconnect. The result? Complete loss of drive power with no advance warning. For owners who rely on their trucks for work, the impact is immediate and brutal. Missed deliveries, towed vehicles, jobs lost. Consumer Reports flagged the R1T with a predicted reliability score of just 19 out of 100, one of the lowest for any new vehicle this year. Owner surveys reveal the scale of the disaster. About 11% of R1T drivers reported sudden power loss within the first year. That's not a rare glitch, it's a systemic failure, and the pain doesn't stop at the side of the road. Repairs for a failed battery bus bar can mean weeks without a vehicle, lost income, and repair bills that balloon if the warranty clock runs out. What stings most is the sense of betrayal. Buyers expected Rivian to set a new standard for electric trucks, not to top the list of electronic failures. For work truck owners, every shutdown is more than an inconvenience. It's money out of pocket and trust lost in a brand that was supposed to lead the future. The R1T's shutdowns have become a cautionary tale, showing how a single hidden defect can turn a high-tech dream into a financial nightmare. Carlos R. never expected to watch his brand new Wrangler 4xe go up in smoke. The SUV had fewer than 9,000 miles when the warning lights flashed red. Then the engine bay filled with thick, choking smoke. By the time firefighters arrived, the damage was done: melted plastic, scorched paint, and a battery pack that looked like it had exploded from the inside out. Carlos is not alone. Across the country, Wrangler 4xe owners have faced the same nightmare: sudden engine fires that start without warning, sometimes while parked, sometimes at highway speed. Consumer Reports' latest owner survey uncovered a pattern that is impossible to ignore. Nearly 7 out of every 100 Wrangler 4xe hybrids have suffered engine or battery-related fire incidents, an incident rate that dwarfs anything seen in mainstream SUVs. The root cause: a catastrophic failure in the battery coolant system that can lead to overheating, short circuits, and, in the worst cases, full-blown fire. Jeep's official recall, labeled JW 2025-09, ordered thousands of owners back to the dealership for emergency repairs. But for many, the fix came too late. Some owners returned home to find their Wranglers reduced to charred metal frames in the driveway. The financial fallout is just as brutal. Repairing a fire-damaged Wrangler 4xe can cost upwards of $4,800, and insurance companies are increasingly wary of covering repeat claims on these hybrids. For families who thought they were buying a rugged, eco-friendly SUV, the reality is a ticking time bomb parked in their garage. Carlos's story is now a warning for anyone considering the 4xe badge. When a new car can turn into a fire hazard before the first oil change, no off-road promise is worth the risk. And as the technology gets more complex, the disasters aren't just mechanical, they're putting lives and homes on the line. Samantha G. was driving her Tesla Model X home from work when the main screen suddenly went black. At first, she thought it was a fluke, maybe a software update, maybe just a glitch. But within seconds, she realized she'd lost access to her speedometer, navigation, and even the backup camera. The car's advanced driver assist system, which she trusted for highway commutes, shut off without warning. Samantha was left gripping the wheel, guessing her speed, surrounded by traffic with no safety net. She managed to pull over, heart pounding, and restarted the car. For a $100,000 luxury EV, this was supposed to be the future of driving, not a gamble with basic safety. She's not alone. Consumer Reports' latest survey found that 22% of Model X owners experienced unexpected screen reboots or total blackouts in the first year. That's not a handful of unlucky drivers. That's nearly 1 in 4. The consequences go far beyond inconvenience. When the screen dies, so does access to critical controls and information. For a vehicle that markets itself on self-driving features, these failures strike at the core promise of the brand. Tesla's own recall, labeled TX 2025-12, acknowledged the issue but didn't solve it for everyone. The fix? In many cases, owners were told they needed a full replacement of the media control unit, the brain behind the screen, and much of the car's tech. Out of warranty, the repair can cost as much as $6,200. Some owners have faced multiple replacements, each time losing confidence in the car's most basic functions. Every time the screen goes dark, trust in the technology takes another hit. For buyers lured by the promise of effortless autonomy, the reality is far more stressful. The Model X's blackouts have become a symbol of the risks that come with putting faith in unproven tech. And as more luxury EVs hit the market, stories like Samantha's are turning optimism about self-driving into something closer to anxiety. Luxury electric cars promised a new era of driving, but the reality for buyers of the BMW iX, Audi e-tron GT, and Mercedes EQS has been anything but reassuring. Each model, launched with anticipation and six-figure price tags, has faced failures that would have been unthinkable in the era of traditional sedans. The BMW iX stands out for its alarming inverter issue. Nearly 9% of owners found their vehicles immobilized by a sudden inverter meltdown, an electronic collapse that cuts all drive power, sometimes in the middle of traffic. The recall, BX 2025-04, forced BMW to replace inverters across thousands of cars. For those affected, a single warning light is the only sign before the vehicle grinds to a halt, and the cost of repair can reach $8,000 if the warranty has expired. Even after repairs, the anxiety of another breakdown lingers. Audi's e-tron GT, designed to rival Tesla, has suffered from a different setback. Over-the-air software updates intended to boost efficiency instead cut usable range by 12%, according to owner reports. The recall, AE 2025-06, confirmed that the update left many drivers with less than 200 miles per charge. For a car marketed on long-distance comfort, this loss turns road trips into a series of calculations, with families adjusting plans to accommodate more frequent charging stops. The Mercedes EQS, once hailed as the pinnacle of German engineering, has been plagued by a silent coolant leak. 8% of owners reported unexplained drops in coolant, only to discover battery packs compromised by slow leaks. The recall, ME 2025-11, ordered inspections, but some cars still suffered thermal runaway, risking fire. For a sedan costing over $100,000, the threat of a hidden battery fire raises questions about the true cost of cutting-edge technology. Right now, automakers continue to release flashy new models, while Consumer Reports' latest data shows reliability sometimes plunges lower than decade-old cars. That gap between promise and reality costs U.S. consumers billions every year. As technology accelerates, so do risks for families betting their savings on the next big thing. Until transparency and accountability drive the industry, trust will always lag behind horsepower. What's your experience with new car reliability? Share your story below.